Good morning from beautiful Brisbane, Australia, where it's summer but overcast at the same time. My apologies, the lighting isn't 100% today, but we're going to get there. Welcome to Complex PTSD TV. My name's Linda. I'm a certified trauma recovery coach and on my own recovery journey. And Happy New Year. Welcome to a new year where we can get lots done and help others and so much more. Now, I want to be able to bring to you these real and raw videos this year because I'm going through a lot of different phases and understanding in my recovery journey where I'm healing my brain and I'm actually having things, gaining a greater understanding of what's happening internally through healing my brain. Now, I hope that wasn't too much all at once, but my goal is to simply say, hey, okay, this is what's happening for me now, this is where we're going, this is what I'm noticing, so that you at least have not only just hope, but when these things come up for you too, you can say, now I know what's happening. Now, my last video I shared on the dissociation, the depression, and the freeze response and recognizing them all happening at once. And then after that, and I said, the freeze response, I couldn't really, gain an understanding or see what was happening from the freeze response. But over the next few days, I was able to realize things like in freeze response, I'm looking to eat more food. So generally speaking, I don't overeat. So I don't, I eat 3 meals a day and snacks here and there. But when the freeze response was there, it was like, I'm hungry, I've got to eat. And I was going, well, I know within myself I'm not hungry because I've just eaten my normal daily stuff. So why would I be hungry? And that's when I was able to start saying, okay, I can recognize the freeze response is happening more easily when that happens. Then what happened after that was I began to recognize even more when the automatic unconscious brain response was getting triggered. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is just, it keeps shutting down my life, my ability to do things. But the reason it kept coming on is because I'm writing a certification for complex trauma, and because I've never done that before, so my brain has never ever learnt to do all of the things that I'm looking into doing, especially in the back end of it. So there's a lot of technology I've had to look into. Then because the brain is like, well, you've never done this before, we don't have a neural pathway for it, shut down. It must be unsafe. And I was like, okay, so how am I going to overcome this, knowing that I, as the adult, need to be in charge of what I want to do? So I got really cranky. I actually got angry. And I was like, but it wasn't angry like when we grow up in our families and we have parent who is angry, or in our marriages we have someone who's angry, and that anger takes away from the relationship, okay? And for my children, I always had what we call righteous anger. So I was able to address a school teacher who was really, really out of place with how she treated my daughter at school. It was just, I couldn't believe it at the time. But now it's become a family legend. The kids know that if they were being emotionally mistreated, I would stand up for them. So it's that righteous anger of, this is not right and we need to address this. It's not taking away from anyone. It's saying, okay, this is what I want for my life. So anyhow, I got really angry that my brain kept shutting down. But it wasn't that anger, as I've just explained, of feeling down and, it's out of my control. I went, damn it, I need to get angry about this. And I need to feel that rise up in me. And I need to feel that energy. And get up tomorrow morning. This was yesterday. Get up tomorrow morning and go, I'm going to gym because I walk at gym, and then I'm coming home to do trauma-informed movement because I know it works. So I'm at gym yesterday morning walking, and I'm feeling the righteous anger rise up in me, and it feels good, it feels powerful. It's actually a really light energy, powerful, I'm going to make it through this, okay? And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And then as I did that, I was then able to go, right, let's keep going, let's keep feeling it, because that righteous anger is really fulfilling in a way. It's like, I want this for my life. I want to be well. So about 23 minutes into it, all of a sudden I felt the sensory system in my brain, and it just, the unconscious automatic tree just stopped. It turned off. And I just stood there on the treadmill and I'm going, yes, at last, victory. And so I came home and was able to do trauma-informed movement and go about my day. But as I sat in the chair, before I went about my day, I sat in the chair after the trauma-informed movement and I went, I'm feeling really numb. Why would I be numb? Why is the brain driving to be numb? But this time, instead of getting up and running around, I went, okay, I'm just going to sit with this for a minute because I don't feel the need to be numb. There's nothing happening around me. I want to sit with this numbness and see what happens. So it was about an hour into it, and I went, okay, it stops me from moving, so it's part of the freeze response, okay, so still working with this freeze response. I was like, wow, this is, and what the brain drives is so powerful. And eventually Nick came out, was having breakfast, we were talking about it, and we're talking about together about the anger that we can have that rises up and motivates us. And I said to him, he said to me, Mum, why have you never done this for yourself? And I was like, well, anger to me growing up was something that took away from communicating. There was no connection in the family. It was just full-on anger and violence and things that are overpowering for a young child. So I've never viewed anger until a few months before the end of the year. A therapist said to me, but anger can be a good thing, and explained it all. So I said, this is new for me and it is a good thing, it's healthy. So I got up, I was able to do my day. The thing is, when we're healing our brain, it's actually exhausting. So later on in the day, even though I got a heap of work done, I knew that I could push it or I could just go and sleep, because the brain needs rest to heal all of the stuff that's happened in the past, and it needs time to recover and get into the new things as well. So I did a whole heap of things that finalised the module 1 of the certification yesterday, and because they're new things and I'm training my brain in new things, I went, I need to put this down. I have done a lot today for recovery. So then this morning comes and I woke up and I was like, I don't feel like going to gym. And I went, this isn't normal. There's something happening at the brain level. And I went, okay, I don't know what it is yet, okay? So I know I need to go and walk and focus on my breathing and retrain my mind into the moment. It's a constant thing to heal the brain. But when I was there, I went, I don't feel the need to be angry today because I got work done yesterday and I feel really good about what I'm doing. I went, what is it? What's happening here? And I went, it's still like that freeze mode is hanging around. So just over 10 minutes into it, and this is how I recognize what happens when the trigger comes off as well, is my heart rate. So my heart rate, before I started trauma-informed movement, I was at gym for a number of years. I could never get my heart rate above the 130s. If I got to 145, it was a miracle, okay? I'd have to be feeling on top of the world, full of joy, and my heart rate would get to 145. So it wasn't until I started doing the trauma-informed movement that my heart rate began to go up and up and up. And this morning my heart rate was just sitting around the 120s, and I'm like, okay, so there's definitely something going on in the brain. There's definitely this freeze response. And I went, okay, let's just keep breathing, keep walking, keep focusing your mind on your breathing. And I do that to make sure that I'm not holding my breath as well. And about 10 minutes into it, the freeze response just unclicked. And I knew it because the minute it did, my heart rate started going up well over 160, and I went, yes, this is what we need to do. So I hope some of that helps you. If you want to start working on healing your brain, as an individual, you can do the Heart of Recovery program and start with the developmental trauma program in there. Or if you are a clinician of any type that wants to learn about complex trauma and incorporate it into your work, Module 1 of Trauma in the Brain for certification is now available. Please remember, if you have any questions, I'm always happy to help. I just am hoping to do more of these raw and real, and this is what's happening for me this year, so that you know that it's when we're healing our brain that we are able to retrain not just our brain, but our entire system is running from the brain. And that way we get to take back our life. Have the most beautiful, beautiful day. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.